A lot of new hamster owners end up making a lot of common mistakes due to either impulse buying a hamster from a pet store or receiving a hamster as a present, because then they either get knowledge from the pet store employee or their friend or whoever gave them the hamster, and a lot of the times the information they've received is actually incorrect or outdated. One of the most commonly made hamster care mistakes is having too small of a hamster cage. When you walk into the pet store and you go into the hamster aisle, 10 out of 10 times every single one of those cages made for hamsters is going to be too small, which can be quite confusing because why would a pet store sell cages for hamsters if they're too small for them? Well, it's because most of these companies making hamster cages are not caring about the hamster's well-being. They will make these cages super cute and fun colored and have a lot of extras like added lights and things so that people just want to buy them for their kids, kind of as toys almost. They don't really care about the hamster's well-being. All species of hamster require a bare minimum of 450 square inches of floor space. Even that I find is quite small for a hamster. Even though hamsters are these itty-bitty creatures, they actually need a lot of space. And a lot of people don't know that or don't quite understand it because they do think that just because they're small, they deserve to live in a small cage for some odd reason, which that's so far from the truth. If you would like to learn about more suitable hamster cages or where to get them, what types to buy, I have a ton of videos on hamster cage size. I will leave them all linked in the description bar. The next commonly made hamster care mistake is not giving enough bedding to your hamster. A lot of people will just put in enough bedding to barely cover the base of the cage, and partly the cages are to blame for this. If you are buying those tiny cages from the pet store, a lot of their bases are like 3 inches tall, so that only gives you 3 inches worth of bedding. Hamsters are burrowers. They really need to be able to burrow down deep. It is just something they do. For a hamster, I would recommend having a section of the cage at least have at least a bare minimum of 6 inches of substrate. Personally, 10 inches or more is a lot better, gives them more room to burrow down. The next care mistake people tend to make is using unsafe hamster products. Yes, those exist. Just because something is labeled safe for hamsters doesn't mean it is actually safe for hamsters. A lot of the times people end up buying these products because a pet store employee will recommend them when they actually end up being very, very dangerous. Things such as wire and mesh wheels, which can cause injuries to limbs, as well as bumblefoot. Cotton fluff nesting, which can get wrapped around your hamster's teeth. It can cut off circulation to their limbs, and if ingested, it can cause blockages. As well as pine and cedar shavings, which can cause upper respiratory infections if used. Another common mistake made is bathing your hamster in water. A hamster should never be bathed in water unless advised to do so by a vet. When you bathe a hamster in water with the soap in the water, you are really wrecking the oils in their coats, as well as if they don't get properly dried off, they can go into shock and die. Hamsters are like cats. They groom themselves all the time to keep their coats nice and kept up, so they really don't need to be bathed. If you would like to help your hamster bathe, then you can actually give them a sand bath, which I have a whole video on, and I'll also leave that linked in the description bar. The next mistake people seem to make is housing a male and female hamster together. You should never house a male and female hamster under any circumstances together. Hamsters in general actually are fairly solitary and they should be just housed by themselves. It seems to be that there's a lot of people who think if you have a brother and sister hamster that they're not going to want to breed. But hamsters and all animals actually, they don't have the same morals that humans do. Therefore, they're gonna breed no matter what because they're male and female and that's what they're supposed to do. So please don't be housing hamsters together or male and female together at all. And the last commonly made mistake is not having a vet fund for your hamster. Just like any other pet, a hamster deserves to get the vet care it needs when it needs it. If your hamster is sick, it needs to see a vet. You can't just let them sit there and suffer because some reason people think they're disposable pets, you can just buy a new one. It's still a living, breathing creature with value to its life. It still needs to see a vet to be taken care of. It's not a disposable toy. This is one of the reasons I actually don't recommend hamsters for children, because a lot of the times parents are unwilling to take a hamster to a vet because it's just a hamster. And then children usually don't have jobs, so it's very hard for them to earn any money to take them to the vet. Therefore, the hamster ends up getting sick and has to suffer and then ends up dying. This is why I recommend you have a vet fund. You can save a couple of dollars every month and put that away for your vet fund, or you can even get pet insurance. Don't forget that mistakes are okay to make as long as you change them. Everybody makes mistakes. It's whether or not we decide to take action and we change how we do things. That kind of determines the difference between a good pet owner and a bad pet owner. A bad pet owner will find out they're making mistakes and they will refuse to change how they care for their pet. So yeah guys, I hope this video has helped any new hamster owners, or maybe hamster owners that just haven't researched enough. So yeah, thank you for watching. Bye!